Coming to my next set of questions, sir, regarding RBI recent announcement of stimulus package for exports. In that exports, that package that included maximum permissible export credit extended from 15 months to 12 months to 15 months, then extension of time limit for making payment against import from 6 months to 12 months, and most important, Exim Bank was provided line of credit of 15,000 crore for 90 days to cater to export demand. Now, how do exporters take benefits out of this line of credit or other measures? And most of the exporters, when I discuss with the exporters, they say banks still do not provide any financial support, and they still carry old cautious approach. So, how what strategy should exporters have to avail actual benefit that is announced?
See, actually, this is part of a overall problem. Now, first, let me discuss the problem, then I'll come to the RBI issue. Now, actually, it is part of the overall problem. Number one, bankers are very reluctant and very, very careful and choosy in expanding credit. Okay, primarily because with the large amount of NPAs which are there and large amount of potential NPAs which could be there, as per the analysis of everyone, it is quite a fearful exercise for banks to do it. Now, two reasons. Number one, when NPAs had happened in a big manner, and NPAs did not happen because banks deliberately wanted to give bad loans or they gave bad loans deliberately, but it happened more because some loans which were thought to be good later on became bad because the way the economy evolved. So recession set in 2007-8. That made a lot of uh, reasonably okay companies and reasonably okay products or okay business propositions as bad. That is one part. The second very important thing is that one is not sure how it will be looked at in the future, and so there could be a conservative approach taken by banks. The third important point: Indian public sector banks have just now got in for large range of merger among interbank merger. Now these interbank mergers are fine. How it will play out in the long run, I'm leaving it to providence and to God and all. I don't want to speculate at this point of time on that. But what is important is because of this, the banks are more into housekeeping issues now, settling the merger in time, ensuring that a merger happens, integrity in HR and all that, integration of HR and all happens, rather than doing it in a very aggressive manner going in for exports. So that is one part of the general malaise and general problem. So far as export financing is concerned, if you have an LC-backed export commitment from a acceptable international bank, in that case the challenge becomes more so far you and your bankers are concerned. The trouble essentially happens in the open account exports. That is where trouble happens in a very major way. The other thing where trouble happens is that when banks are not sure that you will be able to deliver. I am presuming that the LC is there and it's a good LC from a good bank. Now, in that case, one is not sure because it could so happen that the LC is there, but the LC says it will honor the commitment provided you can supply. Now, if you cannot supply, then there's a problem. So essentially, what would happen is that if it is, I would say, in today's situation, open account trade should not really be something which exporters should look at. Exporters should increasingly insist on LCs or other such form of assurance of payment, even if not a guarantee, for taking up any export assignments or export contracts. Because just as much as in India, there is good chance of defaults happening in the international export trade also from international companies, also big, small, everything. There would be a tendency of international exporters or international importers deferring payment on your products or on your goods, primarily because they have to manage their working capital cycle and they may not be able to pay it or to you on time. Now, if these types of things happen, then there could be problem. So we have to be very, very clear and sure of the negotiation which we are doing in the export transactions, which for which we are going to enter into. Export transactions which are already in the pipeline, contracts entered, dispatches started, or contracts entered, dispatches yet to start and all. There we should be very careful and cognizant of this fact to check those export contracts and see if there is an improvement Let us try to avoid open account trade as far as possible. Let us try to ensure that we get more and more of LC backed or other such assurances backed exports, which could happen. And that would actually help save the day for Indian exporters. Coming to the RBI issue, now RBI increasing the payment period for imports, retention period for export bills, etc., has actually helped, in my opinion. It would help exporters in having better liquidity, and there could be a situation where exporters could manage their working capital cycle better if they can delay, if there can be a deferment of payment. I don't know how much the international supplier will accept it. But if there is a deferment of payment, if there is an export transaction where remittances were to come in, if there's extension of the remittances period, it could help Indian exporters by adding liquidity and also by making money available instead of going back to the bank and asking for it. Now, here, the third question you had was this line of credit which has been given to Exim Bank. Very frankly, since Exim Bank does not really engage much in short-term export credit finance, okay, because Exim Bank is not very competitive and strong in the short-term business. So short-term trade finance is best left to commercial bank. Now, only thing which I am hoping could happen, and that is what we should all try for, is that Exim Bank starts a proper refinance facility with a good amount of influence in commercial banks, whereby commercial banks and other agencies can take advantage of the liquidity which Exim Bank can inject into the system to increase exports. Exim Bank on its own will not do the 90-day trade finance, but Exim Bank can definitely add to the liquidity available with the banks at competitive rates, so that if they are in a position to add at competitive rates this, then it could lead to a situation where exporters would have the benefit of higher liquidity in the system, and that could really be helpful. Now, these are broadly the advantages which could come with all these liberalization and all coming. My again, a note of caution: please be careful whom you are exporting. Please be of utmost, take utmost care of the payments. Please do not leave anything to chance, because your best of customers and known customers also could fall in a recessionary spell overseas in their home country, and as a result of that, they may delay or defer your payment. This is happening everywhere. Yesterday on the net, I was reading that a lot of countries are talking in terms of bringing back the lockdown, primarily because the virus has reappeared in their country and death rate and all have gone up.
Oh,
All these tendencies, all these problems will come on happening. So let us be very clear and very sure of whatever is the thing. Don't have bills outstanding. It is very difficult for Indian banks to waive all that and take a very liberal approach. So if there's a bill outstanding, let it be based on LC from a good bank. That is the best way to overcome this particular problem. Opportunities are galore. There are a lot of supplies which were to come to, let's say, Bangladesh or whatever. Okay, those have stopped coming. Those will stop coming, and as a result of that, okay, uh, yeah, as a result of that, it would not be actually uh, desirable to have uh, not carefully decided export transaction agreements.
okay. Thank you, sir.